So, 2020 has been quite a year, to say the least. A few good things happened in 2020. I will list off what I've come up with for this year. Harvey Weinstein met his karma. Got 20 years in prison for his sex crimes. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry left the royal family. Probably a good thing. There is actually a meat shortage in the United States right now. We can thank COVID-19 for that. People all over the world, really, literally all over the world, celebrated Joe Biden's win for the presidency. Most devotees did not. COVID-19 vaccine is now available to some. And if you were, looking for all the good stuff that happened in 2020, well, you might want to mention that there was a chef that offered free cooking classes. There was a stray dog that got a home. There was a couple of twins who dressed like Trump and Biden for Halloween. People sang opera and pop songs from their city balconies. There were tons of stuff like that on the internet, mostly European countries, European cities. J-Lo and Shakira did a great halftime show at the Super Bowl. A fifth grader gave out free food for Thanksgiving. More than 1,000 people got free food for Thanksgiving. Medical experts agree that Santa Claus is immune to COVID-19. And that's the good news. On the other side of 2020, well, Kobe Bryant and his daughter died in a helicopter crash. There was the police killing of George Floyd, knee on the neck, and the deadly riots and unrest that followed. The police-involved killings of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor this year has sparked a wave of peaceful and sometimes not so peaceful demonstrations and riots, not only in the United States but across the world, to demand an end to police brutality and racial injustice. So that's kind of like, it's good and it's bad. During one of these so-called peaceful protests, a man decided to ram his car into these horrible protesters. And then he got out of his car and shot a bystander. Welcome to 2020. A 16-year-old with a military rifle wounds two and kills another at a demonstration, in his effort to protect America. Massive explosions destroy much of Beirut, Lebanon. Huge wildfires flare up in California, destroying whole towns, villages, and millions of square miles of virgin forest and farmland. Huge wildfires engulf much of Australia, leaving people stranded on islands and beaches with no way to get out, trapping them, and burning over 45 million acres, and affecting fully more than half the population of the country. All this is due to 2020's, this is like 2020's nod to climate change. Even the Bhaktivedanta Manor, the ISKCON, main Hare Krishna ISKCON temple in Great Britain, the one that George Harrison bought and then donated, was shut down for more than a month because of positive COVID tests. Iran and the U.S. came closer to war than at any other time in recent history. Iran accidentally shoots down a passenger jet. Huge wildfires flare up again in California, burning whole towns and villages and whatever, almost the rest of California that it didn't destroy the first time. COVID-19 kills millions of people all around the world and infects millions more. Deaths in the USA alone are expected to reach near 400,000 by the end of this month. Plane crashes kill hundreds. Well, but that happens almost every year. Nearly 500,000 people in Indonesia flee their homes from unprecedented and devastating floods. Once again, this is climate change. Waves of anti-Muslim riots kill dozens in India. And in Thailand, a soldier went kind of crazy and killed 29 Thais and injured 58. A shooting at a mall in Thailand, which is now the deadliest gun shooting in 2020. And we are not immune to all volcano erupts here in the Philippines. Swarms of locusts, as big as entire cities. A swarm of locusts that is as big as an entire city. Threaten the food supply and the lives of millions in East Africa. America's President Trump was impeached and then acquitted in what could only be called a political circus. Tulsi Gabbard was not elected as the Democratic candidate for president, as the party basically screws both her and the American people by throwing up an old man and a card-carrying witch to take the job. The invasive insect known as the giant Asian hornet has been spotted for the first time in the United States when they invaded Washington state. Now, these hornets measure up to 2 inches in length, and they can wipe out an entire bee colony within a few hours. America's entire honey and pollination industry is being threatened with total extinction because of these hornets, and among other things. The Olympics were postponed for the first time in nearly a century. Ruth Bader Ginsburg of the United States Supreme Court dies. So does Chad Boseman, the King of Wakanda. And then there was Eddie Van Halen, Kenny Rogers, Alex Trebek from Jeopardy. Kirk Douglas lived to 102, but he managed to die in this year of years. The drummer from Rush, and a famous rapper, and of course many, many more, including the 300 and some odd thousand that have died from COVID. So, obviously the list of weird, bad stuff is a lot longer than the list of good stuff. And 2020 is a year that will go down in most people's minds as being a year that they'd rather forget. But what do the saintly people and sages have to say about all this? A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami once told his disciples that every day is a new year, because Krishna is ever fresh and ever new, and we are celebrating him. But these material people need to drink this poison to forget all the frustrations and misgivings of the past year. However, devotees do not need to celebrate by becoming intoxicated, as that is the pleasure in the mode of ignorance. Rather, we can celebrate by becoming intoxicated with the holy name. A much better idea. This whole idea of celebrating New Year, Happy New Year. What is New Year? What is this idea of New Year? It's astrologically, it's just the same as any other day. January 1st has no big astrological significance. It's interesting that one might put it in the context of reincarnation. In reincarnation, in the idea of transmigration of the soul, one leaves one body and enters into another. Basically, like the new year, everything goes on just the way it was. If you live to be very, very old, likely you'll have become pretty much like a child by the time you die. And then when you're reborn, you're just taking it up the same thing, taking up from where you left off. And even if you should die in an accident or die violently or whatever have you, wherever you left off in your life is where you will take up in your next life. Same thing is true of the new year. I mean, 2021 isn't, at this point, it is not a great deal different from 2020. COVID still runs supreme. Trump is still president. Everybody's worried and concerned. There's all this flooding and climate change going on. Again, back to the Vedas. This is not a new year, according to Vedic tradition, Vedic astrology. As per the Vedic calendar, the new year actually comes on Diwali, where we light candles, we do puja, and we distribute sweets and prasadam, gifts, buy new clothes, and celebrate. On the other hand, if you see the way nowadays that people celebrate by getting drunk, then vomiting their stomach out, then sleeping pretty much all day the next day, and this is how they welcome in the new year. Like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. Basically, hungover. Because that's the Western culture. Celebrating things by getting drunk and trying to forget all their miseries, trying to forget pretty much everything. People celebrate the New Year according to the English calendar because so many countries were ruled by the British, by the Europeans, and thus they passed on their filthy culture to the rest of the world. This is the way you have to do it. I say, this is what you have to do. This is how you have to do it the way we do it, you understand, because we are a civilized country. You have no idea what civilization actually means. You must do it the way the British do it. See, this is basically what they are trying to sell. However, a Vaishnava can meditate that I have a limited time to fulfill my goal to achieve Krishna consciousness. And this year tells me that I am 1 year closer to death. I should become more serious, more sincere, more determined, and bring that urgency into my chanting, taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada's books, and we can welcome the new year by attending Artik, chanting in association with devotees, at least on Zoom, visiting the nearest temple or gathering place, or hearing a tape of Srila Prabhupada and so many of his disciples. It is said that if you attend and Mangala Artik at midnight on the new year and listen to kirtans and associate with devotees, your whole year will be blessed and glorified by the mercy of Krishna. So that sounds like a good idea. So let me offer this for you to think about. Don't wait for a return to the new normal. This is the new normal. Don't wait for an end to the pandemic. Rather, you should burn the ships. Now, the saying burn the ships refers to the story of Cortez, the conquistador who conquered the Maya in Mexico. Cortez came with a mighty armada and over 600 men to the shores of Mexico. And when all of his men and supplies were taken off the ships, he gave the order to burn the ships, giving his men no way back. So they had to make the best of it. They had to make the best of it right where they were. And that's the idea. We have to make the best of it. We have to think outside the box. There is no normal, no past. There is only now. Take the example of the Binyan Bhaktas and spread, glorify, and share this wonderful, wonderful knowledge that Srila Prabhupada has given us. This satisfying philosophy, this amazing lifestyle. Figure out how you can do more. Bring Srila Prabhupada's message to more people than ever before. It's interesting, we know that there are a lot of Zoom meetings going on all around the world. But for the most part, the only people that are watching them are devotees. And as a matter of fact, in some cases, you have to be read in. You have to be signed up. You have to be on the list in order to associate with other devotees in this way. I commend the Bhaktas at Binyan for opening this wonderful experience of kirtan, this wonderful experience of celebration to the public. Anyone is welcome to join in this amazing experience of bhakti yoga. You can tell your friends, whether they're devotees, whether they're not, tell your friends to come and join us, or to catch up on YouTube or catch up on Facebook. They don't have to join in live with the time difference and everything. Sometimes it's not easy. It's not easy at all. But they can catch up. They can catch an old one. They can catch one that we did, a few days ago or whatever. It doesn't take Bala very long to get the the whole thing up on the net. I think, as a matter of fact, I think on YouTube it's usually up like within an hour of after the live show ran, or the live celebration ran. So bring Srila Prabhupada's message to more people. This is what A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami wanted. This is the essence of Sankirtan, to bring this message of love of God to as many people as possible. Burn the ships. Make the best use of what you have. Don't worry about what we might have in the future. Don't worry about, oh, well, if I wait until next month, then, more people will have the vaccine and will be able to, do that. No. There is not some other place or other thing to go back to. There's no going back. That's the point. Make it happen. Be bold. Put it online. Announce your program. Make it public. And change people's lives. Now, don't get me wrong. It's important that we have these meetings among devotees as well, because obviously the things that you're going to be able to talk about in terms of the deeper understandings of Scripture and taking on, readings, the teachings of Lord Kapila Dev and answering some of the deepest questions from various devotees and some of their, taking some of this knowledge, it may not be for beginners. And it's important that we do know and we do associate with devotees of such great depth as Acharya Das and Balakiya Das and Japadas and so many others that have so much to offer to the devotees. But in terms of hearing, chanting, remembering, engaging in bhakti yoga, this is something you can share with everyone. Make it public and change people's lives. I read a note from one devotee. He said, I was among many lost souls aimlessly roaming the streets on December 31st. I met some Vaishnavas and they came and they saved me. There are many more just like me waiting for Krishna's mercy. Please spread the mercy of Lord Chaitanya to every town and village. Now, here's a challenge for you. I just read that ISKCON has a goal. They are mounting a distribution campaign where they are going to, they're going to at least try to distribute 2 million copies of Bhagavad Gita this year, all around the planet. So, my question to you is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to spread Lord Chaitanya's message? How are you going to make this a better year than 2020? How will you expand your service to Krishna and Srila Prabhupada? What are you going to do? Namaste, Haribol. Do you have any questions? Don't everybody speak at once. No? Okay. So you have your challenge out there. Go do it. Make it happen. Okay? I know some of you are already engaged in so many different things, but expand on it. Make 2021 a banner year in terms of your distribution of Krishna. Okay? Thank you so much. Namaste. Haribol.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Sina Swarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Sina Swarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namine Namo Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate Namo Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate Namo Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hari Bol Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan, Shri Govinda Gopinata, Madana Mukana, Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan, Shri Govinda Gopinata, Madana Mukana, Jaya Radha Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan, Shri Govinda Gopinata, Madana Mukana, Radharani Shama Sundar, Radharani Shama Sundar, Radharani Madhava, Vrindavan Hari Bol, Radharani Shama Sundar, Radharani Shama Sundar, Radharani Madhava, Vrindavan Hari Bol, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol Nitai Gaur, 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 Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nichinanda, Nichinanda, Jaya Jaya Nichinanda, 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 Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Jaya Jaya Chaitanya, 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 Jaya Jaya Chaitanya, Nichinanda, Nichinanda, Jaya Jaya Nichinanda, Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Jaya Jaya Chaitanya, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Shila Prabhupada, Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Shila Prabhupada, Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Shila Prabhupada, Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Shila Prabhupada. Haribol. Haribol, namaste. Thank you so much. Thank you. Haribol, Jai Shri Prabhupada.